Hey, how y'all doing today, YouTube? I decided to hop on here today to tell my testimony on how God saved me and changed my life. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into it. I'm gonna walk and talk. I'm on the trail right now, walking, so I'm just gonna walk and talk with y'all. So I grew up a little background of me. I grew up in a Christian household, and I thank God for that. That I was introduced to Him at an early age. But like as I began to grow up and experience life for myself, I began to fade away from the word and away from church, So because I began to experience life for myself, and also, um, I didn't really, I didn't really, I had a little knowledge of God's word, like the I don't want to say basic parts, but the things that really everybody really knows, like. Though that's the thing that I knew about God, but I didn't really dive into my word how I supposed to, how I was supposed to back then as growing up. I wasn't really into my word like that and things like that. So, um, it all started. When I was in junior high. I was in junior high. This is when I started living fast. Like this is when my fast life started to, come into play. I started to get into the streets. I started getting into the streets. I started selling drugs. I just started to be in like a deep sinful lifestyle. And like I said, it's because I was ignorant of God's word. Like I knew the basic parts, but like I didn't really know the things I just didn't know the stuff that I know now is what I'm saying. So yeah. It began in junior high, to where I started to live a fast life, partying. And as I started to grow up, I started to smoke weed, drinking alcohol, partying more. I started selling drugs and things like that, things like that. So I got a couple of experiences I want to talk about real quick. One is about the weed situation. When I used to smoke marijuana, I used to smoke weed for like 4 years straight, right? And remind you, like the first couple of years, I didn't used to have no problems. I didn't used to have no problems with me smoking weed. Like I didn't, no anxiety attacks, no panic attacks, none of that. But the last 2 years, as I started to slow down and stop smoking, because God was trying to get my attention, like I started to have panic and anxiety attacks out of nowhere. And these attacks, like it felt like panic. If you don't know what panic and anxiety attacks is, it feel like basically like you just very twitchy, very nervous. That was a bug. Very nervous, and it feel like your mind's going out of control. It feel like you finna basically die, to be honest. But yeah, those certain things start to happen to me the last few years of me smoking. And at first, I didn't know what was going on until I started to take heed for real. I started to come to my senses, like, oh, this guy allowing this stuff to happen to me, to tell me like, hey, this is not for you. Hey, stop it. This is not for you. So I'm not gonna lie. A couple of times I kept being ignorant and kept doing it, but the more I kept being ignorant and not listening to God and kept smoking, the worse it kept. Things kept happening to me. Like it started to get to a point to where my hearing started to get a little weird. I started hallucinating. Just mind like strong mind battles and stuff like that. So it started to get very, very, very bad. So that's the weed experience, and I'm gonna touch more upon that as I get it more into the story of my testimony. So yeah, that happened. One thing that really made me the situation that really made me like fully turn to God and just really live His word out and walk and really read my word and really dig into my word and do a deep dive in my word and things like that, and really be obedient to God, was it came to a point in my life, like I told you, as I like junior high on up, I was just in the streets living fast, selling drugs, partying, fornicating, drinking alcohol, pornography, masturbation, just a lot of sin, just doing a lot of sin, just committing a lot of sin. And so, long story short, well, not long story short, but I remember God allowed me to go through so much at one time to where, and like, remind you, it took for me to really see, because like, some things we don't want to see, but it took for me to really see what was taking place for me to wake up and be like, oh, let me get on my knees and things like that. So he allowed get on my knees and pray to him and things like that. So he allowed so many things to go on in my life at one time, to where like I got laid off from my job, things started not to go my way. And then like the battles start to like, I just knew what I was going through was too big for me to handle myself. So that's when I came to realization, like, I'm not able to fight everything on my own. Like, I need God, and that's what really made me humble myself. Like, I got on my knees. I remember getting on my knees one night, and I prayed to God, like, explained to him, like, and I was going through a heartbreak, my first heartbreak around that time too. So my first real heartbreak, and it was horrible. But yeah, so I got on my knees and I just, poured out my heart to God and just told him, like, to the Lord, and told him, like, basically, I was tired of how I was living. I wanted to change. I was telling him what was going on, how I was feeling, and I was tired of living in sin and just things like that. I just really got tired. Like, I got tired of what was going on, and I was just asking what was my purpose of being here on this earth, and I was just really curious, because it felt like a repeated cycle, that I was going through, and it was like it felt like it wasn't no way out, and so I kid you not, like 2 weeks or even earlier before then, like everything after I made that prayer, I kid you not, 2 weeks after that or even earlier, everything in my life changed. Like I started to lose friends out of nowhere. Friends started to, like, I don't know, I knew it was spiritual, because like situations that was happening, it was causing them to remove themselves, you know what I'm saying? So I know it was nothing but God making these things happen, like allowing these things and making these things happen. And all of a sudden, like, and some things, it was like a lot of bad stuff started to happen to me. Like, I just started to lose a lot, people started to turn on me, people started to do me wrong, people just started to I don't know how to explain it. They just started to, I don't know, but it looked bad, because I was going through the situation I was in the moment, and it just all looked bad. It just all looked bad until later on, until God revealed to me what he was doing. But so I was in the moment, it was looking bad, because everything was happening to me that it looked bad at the time. So yeah, after that, I remember sitting, after that happened, after I made the prayer and everything like that, everything bad started happening to me, but it was for the better. But I didn't really see it until until later on, till God revealed it to me. So yeah, after that, I remember one day sitting in my room, I was sitting in my room. And remind you, I was living a sinful lifestyle before I made that prayer. It reminds you, when you living in sin, it opens doors. It opens doors. It opens a lot of doors. Like, every sin that you do, it opens the door for the enemy to come in your life and to, wreak havoc if you're not living a life of repentance. So I was living in willingly sin back then. I was just living in willingly sin. I wasn't focused on trying to be obedient or just anything like that. I was just trying to live my life with, just doing me, what I want to do. So it came to a point to where, like, I was sitting in my room one day, and all of a sudden, I felt this presence. Like, I just knew it was off. I just knew it wasn't of God, because how I felt. I was like, something don't seem right, and it felt like it was in front of me. Like, I can feel the presence in front of me. It was strong, and it felt evil and bad. So I was just sitting there thinking about, like, what is this? Like, what is this? I was sitting on the edge of my bed. Then all of a sudden, I felt the presence come like towards me in a way. It reminds you, this is when this after I made the prayer that I want to change my life, want to really live for God, and want to change my ways and things like that. So yeah, that happened. The force, this bad feeling of force came my way, and I just felt it go through me. And after that happened, I just sat there like what just happened? Like, just trying to think about what just happened. And remind you, this is when I didn't have no knowledge of the word like that. I didn't know the Bible like that and things like that, God's word like that. And I didn't have a true relationship with God at that time. I was just getting into it, starting to walk with God. So yeah, that happened. And then I was just sitting on the bed just thinking about what was going on. And so I all of a sudden I felt like I was losing myself at a point in time. Like, I feel like, I don't want to say, I mean, you could say going crazy. I feel like I was losing my mind at one point in time. And remind you, I was still going through everything. Like, everything bad was happening to me. I was losing friends, breakup, got laid off from my job. I was trying to figure out how I was going to pay bills, trying to keep up the bills. Just all bad things happened to me at that time too. At the same time, while I feel like I'm losing myself because that situation that just happened, where that bad presence, just feel like it just went through me. So I felt like I lost my mind at that moment, but I was still there, if that makes sense. It felt like I still could think, but I felt like someone was trying to take control over me. So it got to a point to where I was like, I don't want to say acting out, but I was acting on how I was feeling, at that time when those things was happening to me. And so I was my family started to take notice on what was going on, because the way I was acting, they was like calling it weird, or telling me I was going crazy. And not only some of my family, but other people too was telling me the same thing. And so I'm like, I started to get a feeling like, nah, bro, like, this is not, like, I know I'm not going crazy. I know it's something spiritual going on. And so I was like, nothing, like, I'm not going crazy. It's just something spiritual going on right now. And then my family was talking about they trying to give me they are trying to give me help. They're trying to tell me to go to this mental health facility so I get help. And I was like, no, I don't need it. But they was like, we're worried about you. You need help, and this and that. So me being who I am, I didn't really want to hear much more of it. So I just decided to just to do it, just so they can just be quiet about it, So me being ignorant, I went and did it. So I went to the mental health facility for a couple of days. I get in there, you do the processing and the process, and getting in there, getting situated and things like that, doing paperwork and all this different stuff. I get there, and so they have a doctor appointment set up in this facility for them to tell you what you're diagnosed with or whatever. So I get there, they tell me what I'm diagnosed with, but I knew that wasn't what I was I knew that wasn't what was wrong. That wasn't what was wrong with me. Like, the doctor told me I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and I was thinking in my head, like, no, that's not true. In my head, I'm like, the devil is a lie. I'm not diagnosed with nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I know the spiritual, that ain't wrong with me, So I looked at him, I just nodded it off. I was like, okay. So he told me that or whatever. He prescribed me some medicine. I went on, finished the couple days there, and while I'm the last couple days I was there, I was telling my family, like, nothing wrong with me, and then telling them, like, basically what was going on while I was in there. And so I get home after my days of spending in the mental health facility, and my family, like, they people just known to take medicine, doing this and doing that. I never been a big person taking medicine and things like that, but my family is kind of like that. So I got home, one of my family members was telling me to take the medicine, and I was like, I don't need to take it. But he was like, my family member was telling me to take it. And I was like, okay. So I started taking it for 3 days straight, thinking this just to have them to be quiet about it, because they were they didn't want to be around me, or just because they thought I was going to just act out crazy and this and this and this. And I was telling them, like, I'm cool, I'm straight, but they was telling me to take it. So I went ahead and took it for the first 3 days. After, like, I think the fourth day, or like after the fourth day, or on the third day after I took it, I remember I felt like God speaking to me, like, telling me, like, hey, like, but like, and I remember the fourth day I was finna pick it up again. I was finna pick the medicine up again and take it again. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be taking it. I was just doing it to, like, have them to be quiet about it, So God was telling me, hey, don't take that. You don't need it. Don't take it. Don't take it. You do not need it. You don't need it. Don't take it. So I just wanted to be obedient. I just started listening to my father at that point. I was like, you right. I was like, you right. I don't need to take it. And I've been thinking that I was just been, trying to please, so I started listening to I started listening to the Lord. So I stopped taking it. And then it came to a point to where like, when I stopped taking it, like, I started to I felt this nudge on me, like, to, get in my word, like start reading the Bible and pray. Start reading the Bible and pray and do those things that I was supposed to start doing. And so I started doing those things. I started to see God. Like, I did a deep dive in my word and started to really see God. And the more I read it, the more it started to speak to me, and it started to explain what I was really going through at that time and still what I experienced today. So it and I was continually like to pray. I was praying about my situation, what was going on, about like what I was going through at that time, and it was like, and it was like that situation I was going through, about like how I was telling you guys about how it was basically I was there, but I wasn't there in my mind. Like, people were saying I was going crazy. It was more so. It was like more so. Now that I feel like it was more so of a battle between me when I was like leaving the world. I wasn't living for the world no more, and the enemy was trying to keep me, or he was trying to, like, how can I put it? Or he was trying to ruin me because he knew I was starting to walk with God now, So that's what I came to my senses about, or what was taking place at that time. So yeah, it's beautiful though. So so yeah, after that situation, I just did a deep dive in my word and things like that, and it started to reveal to me, like, basically why I went through what I went through in the past. And it basically was just the word was just God. He was just speaking to me through his word, and I was just constantly praying, asking him to heal me. Like I told you guys, I went through a breakup, a hard breakup, and I just needed healing, like, from not even only that, but from the things I endured in the past, and the stuff that I we kept bottled in. And I was trying to use weed and different things and going out to party and trying to get stuff out of my mind to fill the voids inside. So the more I kept seeking God, the more he kept, like, delivering me from the things that I was like the voids that I was feeling inside. He filled me with so much peace and joy to where I don't have to seek those things, such as weed, just sinful things. I don't seek sinful things no more. I just, I wake up every day full of joy and happiness and peace because I'm filled with God now. So yeah, that's what happened about that situation. That's what made me fully turn to God, those situations right there. And I just wanted to add on here, and God actually, he put me through a situation, like, and at that time when I was going through everything, it felt like, I kid you not, it felt like my life, like, it was like, it felt like it was ending. I felt like I just felt like death was chasing me at that time, I felt like death was chasing me, like it was chasing me at that time, like cause I told you that I was living for the world to really trying to live for God now. So the enemy was mad, and so I feel like death was chasing me at that time. And at that time, like I told you, I just got out of a life of sinning. So I was trying to live for God at that time, and I was making a transfer, if that makes sense, a transfer to trying to live for God now. So and remind you, I wasn't ready at that time to die. So, it made me think about it. You made me think about it at that time too. I was like, don't wait the next 5 years or the next 10 to 15 years or till you get done living it up and living the sinful life to live for God. No, live for God right now, because you never know the day God will call you home. You never know what's going to happen the next day. You don't know. So starting now to really seek and live for God, and the earlier you start, the better it will be. You don't want to be in your 40s trying to, crawl out of the strongholds that the enemy been having on you since you was, young and growing up. You don't want to spend your whole 40s trying to, your later years trying to get out of all that stuff. You want to start now, you know what I'm saying, so you can have a perfect, so you can have a better future is what I'm saying. And also what I want to add also, bro, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. He healed me. I don't no longer do the things I used to do. I'm still a work in progress. I'm not perfect, but I strive to be every day. And by God's strength, I was able to get through what I went through. The mind battles, the strongholds that the enemy had on me from my sinful lifestyle. I was able to fight those off because of God and His Word. He filled me with so much peace to where God is the only thing that can fill the voids inside. It don't matter how much sex you have. It don't matter how much alcohol you drink. It don't matter how much weed you smoke. It don't matter about none of that. God is the only way. God is the only thing that can help you. And like I said, it required me to really seek Him for myself and really just stay in my word. I was reading the word every day. I was praying every day. I was trying to fast. I'm doing those things every day because I really wanted to be healed and really wanted God to, help me, and things like that. So it's really gonna take you to when God see you trying, he would handle the rest, man. All it requires for you to do is to get on your knees, ask Him to help you, and He will help you. He helped me, and he still is helping me to this day. And I know He can help you, because like I told you, if you know me, you know me. I came a long way, and it's like I said, by the grace and mercy of God, and I'm here and able today to tell you guys about my story and what I went through, my testimony and what I went through, and how God saved me and changed my life. So now I just and on this channel, and by the way, on this channel, guys, I'll be telling you guys what I learned so far on my walk with God, and helping you guys on you guys' walk. And this is just going to be a channel about walking with God, and it's just going to be a channel about God, man. And I just want to just help everybody else out. Everything I learned, I want everybody else to learn, so it can help them out in their walk. And yeah, and I appreciate everybody that watched this whole video and really, listen. And yeah, I hope everybody have a blessed day.